Vladimir Putin thought he had it all figured out as Russia entered 2025, still locked in its war against Ukraine. With Donald Trump back in the White House, Putin believed he could manipulate him, weaken NATO, and push for his dream of a new multipolar world. But his calculations have backfired. Instead of breaking NATO, Putin's actions are strengthening it, leaving Russia isolated and its economy on the brink of collapse. For most of 2025, Putin has refused to agree to any peace deal with Ukraine. Talks have happened, even meetings with Trump, but Putin hasn't shifted from his maximalist demands. He insists Ukraine must give up key territories like Luhansk and Donetsk, cut its military down to size, and accept restrictions that would leave it defenseless in the future. These demands aren't just impossible, they're designed to keep the war going indefinitely. By making Ukraine refuse, Putin tries to paint Kyiv as the obstacle to peace. But NATO and the world see through the game. The Kremlin hoped endless war would exhaust Ukraine and drain NATO's resources. Instead, it has only hardened Western resolve. In recent weeks, Putin went further, testing NATO's limits with deliberate provocations. Russian drones have entered Poland and Romania. Fighter jets have strayed into Estonian airspace. Recon planes were intercepted near Sweden and Denmark. Each move was a probe, a way for Putin to see how far he could go. But instead of backing down, NATO has responded faster and stronger than expected. When 3 Russian MiG-31 entered Estonia's skies, NATO jets intercepted them within minutes. The incident rattled enough leaders to push for stricter rules, some even calling for NATO to shoot down any future Russian aircraft that trespass. Even Trump, once seen as a weak link, publicly backed the idea, saying, "Yes, I do," when asked if NATO should shoot down Russian jets. For Putin, this was not the reaction he anticipated. He wanted hesitation and division. What he got was unity and threats of decisive action. NATO's response has gone beyond words. The alliance has launched Eastern Sentry, a massive reinforcement of its eastern flank. More troops, more fighter jets, more ships. Everything positioned to ensure that if Russia tests NATO again, the answer will be immediate. Countries from France and Germany to the UK, Poland, and even Sweden are contributing assets. NATO is now more integrated, more prepared, and more determined than at any time since the Cold War. Meanwhile, Russia's dream of a new multipolar world is crumbling. Hopes in Moscow that Trump would align with Putin after their Alaska meeting have soured. Instead of splitting NATO, Putin has united it. Instead of isolating Ukraine, he has isolated himself. Inside Russia, his war economy, once a source of growth, has turned into a disaster. The military-industrial complex has consumed everything, choking off other industries. What looked like booming growth in 2024 has now collapsed into stagnation. The illusion is gone, and Russia is left clinging to a wartime economy that cannot sustain itself forever. Putin wanted perpetual war. He thought it would weaken his enemies while making Russia stronger. But the opposite is happening. NATO is united, Ukraine is still fighting, and Russia is bleeding resources with no end in sight. The empire Putin dreamed of rebuilding is slipping away, and the very alliance he wanted to destroy is preparing for the moment Russia finally breaks.